love anime fights. They're epic, flashy, brutal, and always test the power levels of the characters. But what happens when one party is so overpowered that they take 0 damage? So, today, we're going to speak about 10 such anime fights where the main characters show they aren't the ones to be messed with. Let's get started. Number 10, Mirio vs. Class A. In UA High, all the first years thought they were the best students out there. It's no surprise they got that mentality. They've got All Might to assist them, they took down a bunch of villains all by themselves, and they had the best tournament arc UA has seen in years. But now, the teachers pitted them against a third year, a person with much more experience and skill than them. And that's when the students realized how much they should improve. Mirio took them down one by one without even taking a single hit from any of them. Apart from showing the difference in power levels, this was also a great character introduction for Mirio. No wonder All Might planned him to be the original inheritor of his quirk. Number 9, Ainz Oogal vs. Clementine.
超回避能力向上能力超向上何もしない死ね
Do you know what it's like to get crushed to death? Well, surely you wouldn't know, because no one has ever lived to tell the tale. But we got to witness it through our own eyes when Ainz Oogal thought enough was enough. Clementine wasn't anyone's favorite character after her introduction. She was ruthless, she had a rather weird character design, and from the introduction itself, you can tell she's that type of character who would meet a bad end. In the end, she got what she deserved. Ainz took her down without taking any damage and crushed her to death. It was great to see Clementine's pride finally shattered as she realized there are more overpowered characters than her. Number 8, Alucard vs. Luke. When a guy has a name called Luke Valentine, you think he's gonna be one of those sweet-talking, charming boys. But then there's Luke in Hellsing, a cold and ruthless young killer who murdered people in an entire mansion to find Alucard. And he did find Alucard, but things weren't pretty. Once again, our villain in the story learned the lesson of fighting an overpowered character, or an overpowered vampire in this case. Alucard first remains calm, and looks as if he's taking damage. And then he comes back, transforms into a dog, and eats the man alive. Nope, I'm not joking. This vampire transformed into a dog to show Luke Valentine what fear looks like. Alucard can get pretty excited when he meets an exciting opponent. Number 7, Rimuru vs. Ifrit. A slime versus a powerful fire spirit. Will the slime be burnt, or will the fire spirit learn the lesson of underestimating the lowest ranked character in an RPG world? Turns out the latter is more accurate. Rimuru is one of those characters who looks weak from the outside, but is strong on the inside. He once gobbled up a whole dragon, so a fire spirit is no big deal. When Ifrit makes his entrance hoping to destroy the world, he gets defeated by the weakest looking character in the world. And let's not forget Rimuru did this with 0 damage. One more victory for Rimuru and one more prey for the dragon residing within him. Number 6, Kirito vs. Titan's Hand Guild. Yes, I know, the first season of Sword Art Online wasn't everyone's favorite, But at least let's admit the season did the character introductions right. Remember the first few episodes of the series? The good old days when Kirito got to travel with various parties and survive in the end while the whole party died? But this one's different. When Silica searches for the item that could revive her friend Pina, Kirito joins her. Turns out, this played to Silica's advantage. When the famous guild known as the Titan's Hand attacked Kirito and Silica, Kirito quickly showed off his power. How? By standing there with a numb look while the members tried slashing him. 0 damage, 0 reduction in health, and all the Titans guild down within seconds. Kirito is badass, isn't he?
グリーンが私を傷つければあんたがオレンジに。
Number 5. Mob vs. Teru. I know the character here got hit a few times, but what counts is that he received 0 damage from those attacks. I know there were plenty of instances Mob was at the peak of an emotional breakdown and unleashes powers, but the first time always leaves an impact, right? Even when Teru Hanazawa forced Mob to fight, he held back his attacks and let the one with the superior complex do the punching. But after being knocked down unconscious, he woke up, awakening his psychic powers to do their most potent level. Then it was Teru's time to learn the lesson. And he did learn a lesson when Mob took both his clothes and his hair away from him. Number 4. Tatsuya vs. Masaki. You put 2 talented marksmen to the field, give them guns, then give them magic. What do you get? The fight between Tatsuya and Masaki. The 2 rivals of the opposite school finally go into a fierce gunfight in a one-on-one duel. And let's say cowboys would have paid damn good money to enjoy this one. The fight showed how both opponents are tactical as well as skilled. They maintained a calm composure the entire time, and the only time Masaki looked panicked was when Tatsuya appeared behind him and gave the greatest finger snap of all time. And let's also not forget, he did this with 0 damage. He truly is the greatest Nisama of all time, isn't he? Number 3. Saitama vs. Sea King. One Punch Man is good at 2 things: creating intimidating villains and punishing them hard enough to shatter the concept of an epic anime fight. So here we have the Sea King, the 3rd biggest threat the city faced. He's a monster that emerged from the sea and then defeated hero after hero until he met Genos. As usual, Genos fails, and I'm sure that's no surprise to anyone at this point. Mugen Rider comes to the rescue, but I don't need to explain how that goes. So things are desperate, everyone is crying for help, and then our bald hero decides to make his entrance. Sea King tries to one-punch him, but Saitama pulls the Uno reverse card and punches him back. 1 punch, and the fight was over in seconds. Number 2. Accelerator vs. Scavenger. When the city's strongest Esper appears in front of you, it's good to back down and call it a day. But the Scavengers weren't about to give up. Or they didn't have time to think they should give up, because when Accelerator attacks, he attacks fast. He takes each opponent down one by one, and also doesn't forget to intimidate their leader. This time, Accelerator had no boundaries, and he made sure to make each attack brutal so the Scavengers won't ever rise again. And they never rose again. At least not when Accelerator was around. At this point, people should learn to flee when they see a white-haired anime boy come towards them with a mad grin on his face. Number 1. Anos vs. Zeppes.
心臓の鼓動だ。
Thanos has one of the best character introductions. He shows how much power he has by the first 10 minutes of the anime, and he doesn't do that in a wholesome way. When Zeppes challenges him to a fight, thinking Anos is another low-ranked student, Anos quickly proves him wrong, and he doesn't do this by words. He does this by finger-snapping the man to death, then bringing him back to life, and then killing him again. With all these deaths and resurrections, Zeppes barely had time to even think of attacking Anos. You thought you had a flashy introduction during your first day at high school? Nope. Think again.
ところで、イングルの魔法にまつわる面白い哲学がある。蘇生で生き返った人間は元の人間なのか。
So there goes our picks for 10 of the best anime fight scenes where the hero takes 0 damage. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can be updated as soon as we release a new video. Stay safe, anime fans, and I'll see you in the next video.